world moves fast. Your workday, even faster. Pitching products, drafting reports, analyzing data. Microsoft 365 Copilot is your AI assistant for work. Built into Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and other Microsoft 365 apps you use. Helping you quickly write, analyze, create, and summarize. So you can cut through clutter and clear a path to your best work. Learn more at Microsoft.com/M365 Copilot.
War Eagle, and welcome to Ever to Podcast. This is the show here at E2C Network where our goal is to inform you, get you up to date on the latest Auburn news, topics, discussions that are happening on social media so that you're ready to discuss them all when you head around the water cooler. The Auburn experience here is what we talk about: Auburn sports, Auburn culture, Auburn family stuff. If it's orange and blue, it is what we do. So thank you so much for joining us in what we're going to do on today's episode 84 of the Auburn not the Auburn Experience podcast, but the Ever to Podcast series. I'll get it down. It's been a minute, as most of you know. Welcome back to this series, and we always intended for this one to be as much as we can update it so that you can stay up to date on the news and stuff. And as you can tell, the holidays have played a little bit of a havoc with that, and trying to get back in a routine and find the pattern of such that would serve us best in this series to keep you updated on the Auburn show. So as we kind of figure that out, we appreciate all of your patience. We have heard from you all that you'll enjoy this. What we may actually start trying to do is assessing, always committing maybe to doing one Thursday or Friday, and if it's necessary throughout the week, doing other ones as well. But because of that, and if we try this different format, we're going to make this one a little bit longer too, because we got a lot of headlines and things that we just want to give you the little bit of information on, not go into a great detail. That's what the Auburn Experience podcast is for, just so that you can be aware of some of the things that have happened that you probably are aware of, but also some of the things that you may not be aware of. So a lot of sports as always, a little bit of culture, but always the Auburn family. Let's jump into it right now and start with some baseball talk. Obviously, there's been a lot of discussion around this baseball team. If you've been paying attention, I know that I'm getting asked pretty regularly about this baseball team, my thoughts on them. Are you buying into the hype, all that kind of stuff? There's a lot of excitement, and with good reason. The way Auburn's year finished last year overall, obviously not the way they wanted it to end, but getting to host a super regional. Seeing a lot of rankings, prognostications. One of the things this week, Perfect Game, which is one of the publications out there that does rankings and stuff, released their preseason class rankings. So how individual players, based off of their freshman, sophomore, junior, senior classification, would fall into different rankings and stuff. You can go find that with them if you want to search that up, but you're going to find a lot of Auburn representation on there. For instance, Chris Rembert, obviously, Chase Freilich, Bub Terrell, Ty Thompson, Ethan Bingaman as well. So check that out if you have not done so already. Speaking of accolades and expectations, Chris Rembert is definitely getting a lot of notice from people early in the season. D1 Baseball, another publication, gave him a first-team All-America nod. And that's another opportunity to be named for something preseason for Chris Rembert. That he is probably Auburn's most highly thought of, at least one of the most highly thought of, as you can tell from some of the publications giving him that notice out there. So that occurred this week. Next up in baseball, BP with BT. Now, I messed this up one time and called BP because we're used to BP Bruce Pro, but we're talking about baseball here. So this is batting practice with Butch Thompson. This is something they've been doing on a regular basis. This is an opportunity for you to come meet the coach. I'm sure some players and staff and things like that. You can take batting practice with Butch Thompson. February 2nd, 6:30 p.m. Gates open at 6. $5 admission, benefiting the Hudson Family Foundation. Obviously working with Tim Hudson. That's a good opportunity for you to get involved if you're interested in that and get a little up close and personal, more so with the baseball team. Staying in baseball here, talking about more rankings. Baseball America, another publication that does all these things. There's so many of these official, quote unquote, and I don't mean that disparagingly, but just there's so many people of influence and note that give out these things. They made their top 25. Auburn is in the top 5, number 5. And that's pretty par for the course. Most people have had them in the top 10. I believe this is the highest anybody has them ranked. If you're curious, UCLA, LSU, Mississippi State, Georgia Tech are all ahead of Auburn currently. Right behind them, Georgia, North Carolina, Texas, TCU, Arkansas, and then a lot of others that you're probably familiar with if you follow college baseball. We'll switch to the other kind of diamond in the spring sports, to softball. A note for them for scheduling. One of their big things to start off the year is they're going to be part of the Leadoff Classic, which will be one of these tournament-style showcase events that they have a lot in softball to start off at the non-conference play. Announcement was made that all 5 of the contests for Auburn will be available at nfca.org. So that is the sponsor or the person for the event, but it will be streamed for free is the point I'm trying to make on Game Changer. Never heard of this app before or this website, but it will be available on your tablet, your phone, laptop. You can watch all 5 of them. And apparently the February 7th contest for Clemson will be live on the air on the MLB network as well. So no excuses not to stay up to date with the Auburn softball program. A note for them. If you've been paying attention to women's tennis, you will noted how much conversation is around them. Just a quick note on rankings for them. They're staying strong this week in the polls, ranked 4th overall, with a lot of anticipation about how good they can be the rest of the season, but holding strong in the polls right now. Moving along, some more to women's tennis as well. Just kind of what held them strong in those rankings. They had a 6-1 win over Georgia Tech and Auburn as they continue to compete in the indoor portion of the spring tennis season. Next up, men's basketball. So a little bit of updates here for you all. Just kind of reminding you what happened this week with a 78-66 Ole Miss win. This win made a lot of people feel a lot better about the season and certainly kind of stabilized some things. Some people are concerned whether or not that was heading in the right direction or not. I think we're doing just fine. 78-66. On the women's basketball side of things, they also had a game this week, which they won. I'm still running off the high of Alabama. They took on one of the highest ranked teams in Vanderbilt. 81-53, they did fall, but it was a lot closer than it looked like. And even more of a special moment this week, DeWanna Bonner came back and gave the team a pep talk, the legendary player for Auburn women's basketball. It's always great to see her back on the play.
Good morning, Crust. It's a great day to be a bread brother.
Ugh, mornings are not my jam. Or jelly.
Oh, come on. Stop loafing around.
I just woke up feeling hollow inside.
Psst, just grab one of the new Morning Uncrustables sandwiches, like Bright-Eyed Berry or Up an Apple, filled with 12 grams of protein and tons of deliciousness. Crust, what are you eating?
It's just granola, not even yogurt.
No crust, no fuss. Uncrust your mornings.
Let's give you a little bit of football knowledge here, some things that are transpiring, obviously a lot here. If you've heard of some of these places that grade out football players, one of these is the PFSN College. You can find that wherever you look at it on social media. They've given out grades across the board, and they said the highest graded FBS linebacker from 2025, no shock here, Xavier Atkins from Auburn. They grade him out as 91.4 on their impact grade. They even list some of his numbers of why they gave him that grade: 84 tackles, 17 for loss, 9 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 25 pressures, 28.7 pressure rate, according to them, or according to True Media, who they cite. So their highest graded linebacker, Xavier Atkins. That should not be a shock to you in the least at all. Another grade that's given out, this one maybe only is just for funsies here, but College Football 26, obviously the game being back, gave out some nominations and awards, and Keldrick Falk was earned a nomination to the EA Sports College Stars of the Season team. I think he was Auburn's highest rated in the game, so it shouldn't be a shock that not only did he have a great season, but that he was thought of well in the game, as they say. And then obviously we've got a lot of transfer portal talk. We once again going to have a lot of discussions about this in the Auburn Experience. We may be doing some video series about all of these guys. We're sitting well in the 30s, if not almost 40s, for some of these transfers in. Right now, I would always push you to go to the transfer portal tracker for Auburn Football Official for all of the measurables and things like that. Keep that in mind. I think since the last time we were together, at least on the Auburn Experience, Kamari Todd, cornerback, has joined. Kenneth McManus, offensive line. Those have been announced. as part of this class by Auburn. At least that's the official update. But what has at least been reported and that type of reporting on it, there's a few others that have come around. That would be Hunter Herring, who is going to be an athlete. He is done a lot of things, quarterback at ULM, but athlete, I think most people are thinking he's going to be a tight end style guy. Offensive lineman from Miami, and I think this is Derek Plaz, how you say that, but offensive lineman for the Tigers adding there. From Troy, a running back, Tay Meadows, is going to be joining that already very full running back room. And then also another, probably the only linebacker I think thus far from Hampton, Michael Matthews-Canty. Those were two late night ones in the evening of Thursday night, because we're doing this on Friday the 23rd. So there you go for those. And one thing I forgot to add in my notes is there was a commitment this week, the first of the 2027 class, Trey Proctor, a tight end. There's been a lot of tight end action for Auburn so far in this early recruiting periods and getting to know what it's going to be like under new coach Galesh. Switching gears over to swimming and diving, a quick note on them, rankings, how the January polls see them, men's and women's. 15th for the men, 17th for the women, giving you a perspective of how they're doing. And then something that I want to note, just in general for the Auburn athletics and all that stuff with the storms this weekend, there could be some things that wreak havoc. One of the things is that Auburn men's tennis is supposed to play Alabama and Tuscaloosa. They're moving that over to Starkville. I don't know how that's going to make that big of a difference. Obviously, they think it is, but just something to keep in mind as you're traveling. When we do our shows this week, we're potentially going to be affected by that. Everybody be safe out there when you're traveling to go to some of these Auburn events, and I hope that everything goes fine and isn't affected all that much. A couple of other notes here. We're just kind of getting to the last bit of the things here. A lot of conversations around can players come back, especially in men's basketball, once they have been part of some form of the NBA G League, things like that. There's a certain school out there that's making a lot of noise about that. If you know who I'm talking about, you know. There's also been, in retort to that, some people throwing things the way of Filip Jovic and him being part of a professional European team. There's some NCAA bylaws that certainly explain a little bit of this if you want to take the time to go and learn about that. I think it's NCAA bylaw 12.2.2.2.1. So fill yourself in on that if you haven't done so already. That should help you at least understand some of that thing. In the pros, Dylan Cardwell had a great week last week. It's continuing this week. He has endeared himself towards the Kings, and he is becoming very quickly Auburn's most talked about in the NBA space. So go check that out if you haven't already. He's playing for the Sacramento Kings. And then obviously the story with Jarrett Stidham getting the start for the Denver Broncos with Bo Nix going down. That's something for you to pay attention to this week. We're all behind Jarrett Stidham at this juncture in his career, hoping he has great success and does Bo proud in stepping in for him on this very important AFC championship game. Final, just generic notes here. Aubie competed in the UCA National Championships, which is the cheerleading, the mascot competitions. Auburn's an 11-time national champion there. This time, though, he is only a top 5 national championship contender. He was beaten out by the ultimate winner, Buckeye, then Goldie Gopher, Smokey, Cincinnati Bearcat, and then obviously Aubie the Tiger. But by the way, though, the top 5, which he's in, are far and away the best ones. Everybody else is a step below them in terms of how they grade out. Alabama's way down there. Not too. They're in the top 10 too, but just throwing that little bit of a shot in there at the end. Also, if you know about Heyday Market, there's a lot of options for you as an Auburn fan to take in there. One of the cool things that they shared this week is about Sophie Sweets. That does a lot of, as you guessed it, sweet treats in there, part of their incubator program. Sophie Snyder is doing that as a student entrepreneur. So go check that out and support her in the Heyday Market. And a cool final note for you on this week, catching you up on all of the Auburn experience. The University Bookstore has given put out this new paper towel doll. I don't know. I love it, though. I think they've already sold out. Go check it out at the AU bookstore. TP Roll Plush, I think is what it's called. That's pretty cool. So that should do it and catch you up on the bulk of the Auburn news from this week. We, again, thank you for your patience. Thank you for your understanding of us getting back in a routine of this, and hope that you feel informed and ready to discuss the Auburn experience. As always, we want to hear from you. Follow us everywhere you can on social media. If you're not subscribed here and you're finding this for the first time, please do so. And we'd love to hear from you in emails, e2cnetwork@gmail.com, or direct messages on social media. As always, when we leave you, I want to remind you, the Auburn Creed asks you to do justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with God. We ask you to do the same. War Eagle.